Welcome back, everyone. Still on 2.8, but we're going to pick up with letter F. So take a look at 7x to the fourth minus 28x squared. So just like before, leading term, positive, yes it is. Greatest common factor, pretty sure we have one. So I'm looking at 7x to the fourth minus 28x squared. 7 and 28, both divisible by 7. X to the fourth, x squared, I could get an x squared out of both of them. So GCF, 7x squared. Left over, I'm going to have an x squared minus 4. Now, on the last example we just ended our other video with, that was about as far as we could go. But this one, I'm going to look and I'm going to, okay, x squared minus 4, I wonder if I can go further. That's a binomial, so I'm looking for one of my special cases. X squared is x times x, 4 is 2 times 2, and it's subtraction. That's difference of squares. So x, 2, 2, one's a plus, one's a minus, and then don't forget to bring down your 7x squared, and you're done. Moving on to letter C, 16s to the fifth plus 54s squared. Okay, so I'm looking at this one. This is positive. I definitely know I could get some s's out of here, so I know I can get an s squared. Now, between a 16 and a 54, I know there is a GCF. I'm just curious how big it is. So I'm going to start with something I know, and I'm going to say, okay, well, that's a 16, that's a 54, that ends in a 6, that ends in a 4. So I know I can at least get a 2. So I'm going to take out a 2 and see what's left over and see if I can go further than that. So 2s squared. So if I divide 16 by 2, that's going to give me 8s to the third, because I had 5 and I take away 2, plus 54 divided by 2 is 27. And then I'm getting rid of the s's. Okay, so I'm looking at that. Now, I wasn't very sure about this 2. I was wondering if I could go bigger. So now I'm going to look at 8 and 27. Is there any number that I can get out of 8 and 27? And the answer is no. Okay, so I know I got the greatest common factor. We're good to move on. Okay, 8s cubed plus 27. Also a binomial. Probably a special case. 8 is 2s times 2s times 2s. 27 is 3 times 3 times 3. So this is the sum of cubes. Okay, sum of cubes. We got to go further. So cubes is your hippo that's having a bad day. Small butt cheek, big butt cheek. Take a 2s, take a 3. Take your other ones, multiply them together. So that's 4s squared. Take your other ones, multiply them together. So that's 9. Then you remember how we get that middle term? So multiply your 2s by your 3, which is going to get us 6s. And then SOAP. So there's your plus. Same. Opposite. Always positive. Then don't forget back up here you had a GCF, so we're going to bring down 2s squared. Now I'm looking at this answer right here and I'm going, my teacher is tricking me today. I wonder if I could go further. And the part I'm looking at is kind of right here, because that looks like a trinomial, right? I wonder if that would go further. Okay, well, let's try. 9 times 4 is 36. Middle number is -6. Can we multiply to 36 but add to -6? Well, let's see. 36 is 2 times 18, but that won't add to -6. We could do 3 times 12. That won't add to -6. We could do 4 times 9. That won't add to -6. We could do 4, 5, 6 times 6. That won't add to -6, and I've gotten all my factors at 36, so yeah, that's not going to go any further. Final answer. Okay, letter G, 16x to the 4th minus 81. Leading term positive. Greatest common factor. Is there a greatest common factor between? I don't think so. Okay. It's a binomial, so I'm looking special cases. 16 is 4 by 4. X to the 4th, x squared. 4x squared times 4x squared. 9 by 9. That's difference of squares. So 4x squared. 4x squared. 9. 9. Plus, minus, done? No. Take a closer look. Take a look at this second one. 2x times 2x. 3 times 3. Subtraction. Okay, now, why will that not work on the first one? And the reason is because this one is sum of squares. We don't have a sum of squares. You can try to factor it the same way, but if you multiply it back out, it doesn't work. This is difference of squares. This will factor more. So this second one, I can factor into 2x and a 3, and a 2x and a 3. One's a plus, one's a minus. But the first one, 4x squared plus 9, cannot go any further. So that one's going to go 4x squared plus 9. And now you are completely factored. And when I say that that can't go any further, it can't go any further right now. Later on down the road, when you learn about imaginary numbers, that'll go further. But for right now, it doesn't. Okay, 2 more of these. So letter D, 3p to the 8th plus 15p to the 5th plus 18p squared. Leading term is positive. Greatest common factor. 3p squared. And again, I highly recommend you pause your video and try to do these on your own right now, and then just come back and check your answer. So 3p squared is going to leave me with p to the 6th plus 5p cubed plus 6. Yeah, 6. Okay. Now I'm looking at this thing inside. That is a really weird looking thing. We have not seen that, but it's a trinomial, and we know how to do trinomials, so we're going to try. Multiply your last number by your first number. 6 times 1 is 6. Add to your middle number, 5. I'm going to look, I'm going to say, okay, multiply to 6. Well, I could do 6 times 1, but what's 6 plus 1? 6 plus 1 is 7, not 5. That won't work. 2 times 3, and 2 plus 3 is 5. We're going to use a 2 and a 3. Now, I'm going to come over here, and I'm going to break this down into a 2 and a 3. But do you notice the variable that's on it? It's a p cubed. So guess what? You need a 2p cubed plus a 3p cubed, because 2p cubed plus 3p cubed better be 5p cubed, which it is. Drop your 6. Drop your p to the 6th. From here, just like we did before, grouping. First 2, I can get a p to the 3rd. So p to the 3rd, and then left over I have a p to the 3rd plus 2. Then I'm going to come to my second one, 3p cubed plus 6. I can get out a 3, and that is a positive 3, so make sure you record it as such. And then that's going to leave me p to the 3rd plus 2. Take a look at your parentheses. Are they the same? Yes, that's good news. So out of both of those, we're going to take a p cubed plus 2. Then record your p cubed plus 2. Set up your parentheses behind it. Left over, we're going to have a p cubed. Left over, we're going to have a plus 3. And then at this point, do not forget your GCF. If we go back up here, I'm pretty sure to start with, we took out this 3p squared. So I'm going to go back down. I'm going to put my 3p squared, and then I'm going to look at this thing really carefully. This is a p cubed, which means I could do p times p times p. But could I do like 2 times, I don't think 2 has a cube root. Okay, so this one's done. P cubed, p times p times p. But what about this one? 3. You can't do 3. 1 times 1 times 1 is not, okay, this is done. Last example for this video, 12x squared minus 7xy minus 10y squared. Whew, now I've got a lot of variables in there. I've got some x's, I've got some y's. Let's figure this out. So, leading term is positive. Greatest common factor, this has an x, no x. A y, no y. There's no greatest common factor. So this is a trinomial. Again, we know how to factor trinomials. We're just going to follow the steps and see what happens. So multiply the last number by the first number. We have 12 times negative 10. Ignore the variables here, people. Negative 120. Middle number, negative 7. Okay, we've got to figure out what multiplies to negative 120 and adds to 7. And I'm going to have to guess here because I don't know. I'm going to start with 12 times 10. But 12 and 10 are not 7 apart. So I'm going to pick up my calculator. I'm going to take 120 divided by 5 is 24. But those aren't 7 apart. So 120 divided by 6 is 20. But those aren't 7 apart. 120 divided by 7 doesn't work. 120 divided by 8 is 15. Are those 7 apart? 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9. Yeah, okay. There, we finally got something. But it has to multiply to negative 120 and it has to add to negative 7. So if my adding is negative, I'm going to make my larger number negative. So negative 15 plus 8, negative 7. Okay, I think we got it. So we're going to come back over here. We're going to break it down into an 8 and a negative 15. But again, notice the variable here is xy. So you just keep xy. Don't change anything. And then check yourself. Is 8xy minus 15xy negative 7xy? Yes. Drop down your negative 10y squared. Drop down your 12x squared. And grouping. Okay, out of the first two, I'm thinking we could get 4x. Which is going to leave me with a 3x plus a 2y. Out of the second two, I'm thinking negative 5y. So record your negative 5y, which is going to leave us with a positive 3x plus 2y. Take a look at your parentheses. Are they the same? Yes, they are. So we're going to take out a 3x plus 2y. Record your 3x plus 2y. And then left over, we're going to have a 4x minus 5y. There was no GCF to start with, so I don't think we have anything to bring down. And then I'm going to take a look at those. I don't have anything squared or cubed or anything funny going on. So we're all done.